think you're funny?
Okay. Hi, everybody. Rabbi Shmuley Podcast. Great to have you. It's almost 9 o'clock. We're about to get started. Everyone who's joining us on Zoom, just please tell me if you can hear us. Shake your head or something if you can hear me. Great. Okay. And all the people on Facebook, make sure that this is too low. We need something a little bit higher. Just a drop higher, please.
Tell whoever wants to join Facebook Live that
Okay. So we're going to be talking about relationships in the age of Corona, and just a bit more. Yeah. Maybe watch. I'm getting set up. Okay. Okay. Can everyone hear me? What's the Zoom number? I thought didn't we put it here?
Yeah, it's pinned to the top of the page. It's
pinned to the top of Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you that are on Facebook, it should be pinned to the top. But we can also write it here. What is it? Ted, you can see it pinned to the top. I can also write it. Hannah, do you have it? What is it? No, use it from your phone. No, don't go off of Zoom. Okay.
I don't know. Okay.
You just go from a phone.
Where's the video now? No, I have to go to your Facebook.
Oh, we shouldn't have left it.
It's on your Facebook.
Okay, this is the wrong way to do it. Just get it from your phone.
You have to click it on Facebook. Go down.
To do what?
Go down. Go to your...
But now I've lost Zoom.
I'm getting Zoom.
Okay, we're gonna. Do you have the number? Just let's put it on. You guys should be able to see the Zoom meeting number. Okay, I'm gonna start. If you want to talk to me and you want to ask some questions, we build this as a. This is all kind of beta. It's all still very experimental for us. So please be understanding. I want to get more accustomed to this technology. As you know that I've been doing Facebook Lives for years and Instagram and everything else. But the Zoom technology. Let me just move over. Drop.
Do you want me to type it in there?
Yeah. Yeah. Type it in. Mendel Poulter says our kids need to teach us all technology. With me, it's not just our kids. My grandkids ought to teach me technology. I remember the days when I thought I was cutting edge in technology. I was like one of the first people to use a Macintosh in Australia when I was a rabbinical student there. But in a minute, we're going to be taking your questions on relationships in the age of coronavirus. And I just did a segment about this on national Australian TV just a few minutes ago for those of you who are in Australia watching. Is that it? Okay, so now you guys should have the Zoom number. Okay, let me see who's joining us so I can see everybody. Gallery view. Okay, I'm going to start with a statement about relationships. We're all living on top of each other right now, and when it comes to marriages, that can lead to some significant loss of attraction, because I always say there are 3 rules of attraction, and I just discussed them on Australian TV. Rule number 1 is, let me put something here to, hold on a second, wait. Okay, it's better. There are 3 rules of attraction. Rule number 1 is unavailability. And yet, during the coronavirus, we're all home. It's a very nice thing. Not because of coronavirus, but we're all home, so there is no unavailability. So that disappears. The second rule of attraction, erotic attraction, is mystery. What kind of mystery is there when we're always around each other? The third is sinfulness. You know, women like the bad boys, and the most written about subject in world literature is always the adulterous wife, like Madame Bovary, Anna Karenina, Madame Bovary, Tess, Lady Chatterley, I could go on. All three elements seem to disappear during the age of coronavirus. There's no mystery, no availability, no sinfulness. So how is there erotic attraction? So on Australian TV right now, what I said was that there are deeper elements of our personality that are rarely exposed to the people that we love because there's just not enough time. Marriages are so often pragmatic and they're so practical. There's no time to really talk about fantasy. Or we might be embarrassed. But you know what? Now that you have all this time, utilize it to go deeper into yourself. And it could actually magnify, it could heighten attraction. For those of you who read my book with Pamela Anderson, Lust for Love, you'll know that I speak a lot about the three ingredients of attraction: unavailability, mystery, and sinfulness. You know, this is a time when wives, for example, can actually reveal erotic fantasies to their husbands that they otherwise would never have discussed because there wasn't the opportunity, because there was embarrassment, or for husbands to talk to their wives about erotic fantasy. But I got to tell you, for those people who are not feeling particularly amorous right now, and there's a whole debate going on right now whether or not there's going to be a baby boom after coronavirus, so there's a lot of sex, or precisely the opposite. The divorce rate is going to spike, and we saw that happening in China, in Wuhan and other provinces when people were locked down for more than 2 or 3 months. The divorce rate went up, I think, like 10 times what it had been prior to the lockdowns. There's this whole debate. Divorce boom versus baby boom. I don't know how that's going to play out, but that's why it's so important that we discuss these things. But for those of you who believe, I'm not feeling amorous, I'm not feeling sexual, not feeling particularly erotic, not feeling very attractive or attracted, don't underestimate how important a healthy sex life is during the coronavirus. Because what sex does is it helps release tension, it helps connect, it makes us feel like we're not forlorn, it helps assuage loneliness. It's actually and the validation of tactility is so critical as well. So with all of that, I'm going to start taking questions. Now remember, this is all new technology for me. I'm getting used to it, so bear with me. And I'm going to, if you write, okay, so my daughter Chana's right here. In the chats, if you write to me that you have a question and you write what the question is, I'll then unmute you, and then you'll ask me a question. What?
Jude Dubs asked a question, I think.
Who wants to ask a question?
His hand is raised. You see there's a hand.
You can also raise your hand. You can just write it in the chat. That's even better.
There's a hand there, see?
Where?
In the corner.
Judubes. Oh. Lower hand.
No.
Let me unmute you. Hold on. Unmute. Okay. Okay, you're unmuted. Go ahead. Hey, how's it going? I can't hear you. Hang on. Why can't I hear you? Okay, this is a problem. You want to get maybe here? Hold on a second. You got to just bear with us. Like I said, this is all beta. We'll have it working very soon. Just a second. Hang on. Okay, hang on. What?
Hear me now?
Where's the audio coming from?
Yeah, now you can hear.
I can't hear.
Yeah, you can.
I can? Hello? What did you
Hello?
do? Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, close. Yes. How's it going?
All right, doing all right. Good to see you at APAC, by the way. So
Wait, what is Jude Dubs?
Jude Dubs.
Jude Dubs. Is it Jude Dubs?
It's like Jude wins, basically. My friend gave me a nickname.
Okay.
So
And we saw each other at APAC?
Yeah, we did.
You know, that was like the last time we all were able to get together. Actually, our gala dinner was at Carnegie Hall the night after APAC, Tuesday, March 3rd.
Oh, really?
That was the last time we got to see everybody. Now we're all in lockdown. But don't worry. Those big conferences are coming back. But go ahead. What's your question, please?
Yeah, so basically my question is, like, I think one of the most destructive things to healthy marriages or even relationships is, like, I guess pornography, which is obviously a huge thing. Do you think that people being alone and doing, obviously that's what happens when people are alone, right? They get tempted by these things. Do you think that's going to have like a severe negative effect on people's mental health and not building relationships, especially during quarantine?
Okay, very good question. We should actually write in the, I should write, question is about how porn will affect relationships in quarantine. Is that fair? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay. I can imagine that there's a lot of people who are thinking, well, porn is a great alternative now that we're all in lockdown. And if you're a single guy, and it's mostly men that look at porn. There is porn for women, by the way, but it's radically different to what the guys are looking at. But I can imagine if you're a guy who's home alone, that porn might be an enticing alternative. And even if you're a couple and you're looking for novelty, and there's very little novelty right now, that porn might be an appetizing alternative. Let me first tell you why I don't agree with that, and I appreciate the question very much. It's an honest question. I like honest, candid questions. Firstly, forget about that porn is degrading to women. And first and foremost, what porn does is it locks us into a very limited bandwidth of what sex is supposed to be. All porn is about men and women in like 4 positions. There's no imagination, and or so my friends tell me. I hope you guys laugh at that. All porn is about men and women in four positions. It lacks sexual adventurism. It lacks sexual creativity. And it lacks really erotic fantasy. You know the people are faking it. You know the director's on the side saying, scream louder, fake an orgasm, or whatever it is. Or let's go for the money shot. And any sex which isn't real is automatically unerotic. The second thing that porn does is it makes men find it very difficult to communicate sexually with women, because in order to have a true intimate sexual connection with a woman and be very passionate and let yourself go and connect with a woman sexually, then you have to see her as your equal. You guys have to be equals. But when a woman is treated as she is in porn, as a means to an end, men begin to see a woman not as their sexual equal, but as existing to service their sexual needs. And that means that you can't really connect. I think it really begins to subvert intimacy. Now, what's the one thing we should be looking for in the quarantine virus? I think in our relationships, I think intimacy more than anything else. Because if this isn't the time to really get to know each other on a deeper level, global crisis, global danger, tremendous fear, the forced togetherness, this is the time for intimacy. And porn actually subverts intimacy. So porn gives us bad sex. It makes men look at women as a means to an end, so they can't really respect them or connect with them sexually. It magnifies loneliness, in my opinion. And finally, you know what porn does? It makes it very difficult for men to remain attracted to women. Because you begin to absorb, the male mind begins to absorb so many sexual images of women that men become experts in a woman's body. And what's the definition of an expert? The definition of an expert is somebody who can spot the flaws. Right? If it's my wife's birthday or wedding anniversary and I buy her a diamond, but my wife happens to be a diamond dealer, she's not just going to be impressed with what I bought her, she's going to start examining it. Is it a good diamond? Is it luminous? Does it have little flaws in it? Men are not supposed to be experts in a woman's body. They're supposed to be exposed to the nakedness of their wives, and there's supposed to be an erotic response. It's supposed to be a gut, congenital, instinctual response. But what happens if your wife, your partner, your girlfriend takes off her clothes and it's your brain which is now activated? You now start comparing her breasts, her other regions, to all these images that you have stored in your mind. You're going to find it difficult to be attracted because you're going to be judging her. So I actually think that porn makes us bad lovers, not adventurous, increases loneliness, disrespect for women, etc. So for those of you who say, but Shmuley, come on, I'm in lockdown, for a month, what am I supposed to do? Look, I don't live on a different planet where I'm not in touch with real life challenges. I understand that's a real challenge, but I don't think that porn is the solution. But anyone that wants to react to what I just said, I appreciate the question very much. My daughter Chana, who created kosher.sex, remember, and go there for all the amazing stuff that she offers online, amazing courses and amazing products and books, and a lot of my books, is giving me some suggestions here. She's producing.
No, what
this.
about that question for singles, not people who are in relationships?
Because so Chana's asking me, what about for singles? But I think it pertains to singles as well. I think single men can be as adversely affected by porn as anyone else. Why is the lockdown suddenly justification to feed a porn addiction? Any addiction is unhealthy. And if you have to get,
channel that?
How do you channel your sexual
single,
energy away from? But why does it have to be porn? It could be fantasy.
Because people are single and they have no one
Okay, but why does it? But why?
How's a better way to express it?
But why does it have to be? Why does it have to be porn?
So what's a better way to channel that sexual energy?
Well, I'll tell you. Let someone ask that question because I want to involve more people. Okay, thank you very much. God bless. Let's go to another question. Guys, write them in the chat, and then or raise your hand. Any other questions? A lot of you are just like still pictures, like people frozen in time. But that was a really good question. By the way, Ted, you keep on writing.
I agree with Hannah 100%.
Sorry?
I agree with Hannah 100%.
Okay, this is Benzi.
What is the alternative? Where should you release your energy?
You mean, okay, well, let's be more explicit, because I'm not going to just use words like energy, because we're all adults here, and I'd rather have a real conversation. If you're asking me, what should men who feel like horny do if they're in quarantine without a woman? Is that the question?
For women as well.
Yes.
Is that a more and you asking it? Well, okay. You asking about men, or because Chana's saying women as well?
Both.
But women don't really look at a lot of porn.
That's
the
not
statistics
true.
show.
That's
No,
not
women
true.
look at a very different kind of porn.
I don't think that's true.
Well, the statistics show that most porn.
To admit it, there's definitely a difference, and they're making porn that's more women friendly and more erotic and more intimate, and using people with real bodies. But women look at porn almost as much as men. They're saying nowadays.
Okay, let me address that in a second. I just want to tell the people on Facebook Live, instead of writing your questions on the chat on Facebook Live, you should really go into Zoom, because we have a tiny little. I can barely see what you're asking me on Facebook, so it's better to join the Zoom thing. We can actually ask it. So Ben, is it Bensi?
Yeah.
Where are you, Bensi? Where are you?
Queens.
You're in Queens. Okay, you guys have been hard hit there. Hope you're safe.
The first.
I'm sorry, what?
Our shuls were shut down the first.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That was a responsible decision on the part of the rabbis. I respect that. Rabbis showing real leadership, and at times that means not praying together. That saying that they say now, be apart now so we can be together later, is actually very accurate. Sad but true. Okay. So what do I think? If you're a man and you're feeling horny, what is the alternative to porn? Well, fantasy is an alternative to porn. One doesn't. I'm not here to say that masturbation is okay insofar as there are biblical issues about masturbation. We did a class about that here on Facebook. I did it with Chana just about a week ago. A lot of thousands of people watched it, but you don't need. Wait. But let's separate between masturbation and porn. You don't need porn for masturbation. Masturbation can be done with fantasy. If people want to masturbate, they don't need to indulge in the degradation of women or absorbing all of these fraudulent images of women in order to masturbate. Let's not say the two are connected. I find that porn is injurious to relationships for all the reasons that I just gave, and I've written a lot about it. That doesn't mean that any of us here have never seen porn. It doesn't mean that we're innocent as the driven snow. It just means that we make conscious decisions every day in our relationships about things that are going to enter our mind and things that we want to keep far away from our imagination. And as I said, I find that porn, listen, this contagion is going to pass, God willing. This too shall pass. And the lockdown will pass. And you'll have to date women. And you're going to want to be attracted to those women. You're not going to want to judge them cerebrally with all the images of thousands of naked women that you're absorbing during porn. You're going to want to be able to look at a woman and feel erotically drawn to her rather than think, oh, her breasts aren't round enough or this isn't. So that's one of my issues with porn. As far as what my daughter Chana is saying to me, that women are also looking at porn and it's not gender specific, I'm not completely convinced I'm not completely convinced about that. There is porn for women. It's usually more relational. It's usually a bit more emotional. It doesn't mean that women don't want raw, exciting, passionate sex. But the kind of fraudulent sex that male porn represents, I think women are repulsed by it.
There's definitely not as much addiction, that's for sure.
So Betsy, I hope that answers your question. I mean, if you want to ask about masturbation, that's one question. If you want to ask about porn, that's another question. To conflate them and to say
it's a good idea.
To conflate say that we can only masturbate with porn, that's not true. Human beings have imagination. Human beings have an erotic imagination. What did we do before porn? What do you do before? And by the way, my biggest proof that porn is ultimately a bore, and that's my biggest issue with porn. I actually think it's erotically boring. My biggest proof is, and I said this to Larry Flint when I debated him 20-odd years ago with Roseanne Barr as the moderator. I even think that the video is available online. I said to Larry Flint, if porn is so erotically interesting, and it's so amazing, and you're such a brilliant businessman, then why do you pay 12 separate women to be your centerfold for 12 months of the year? Just get Miss January, take her pictures and use new pictures for February, March, April, May. And of course, the reason they need a new woman every month is once you see a woman utterly exposed in January, you're not going to buy the same magazine for February, March. And that was before internet porn, where you click one picture and 10,000 other pictures pop up. Why do I need 10,000 other pictures of naked women if one naked woman is erotically satisfying enough? Answer, overexposure leads to contempt. It's not erotically interesting. It becomes boring very quick. Okay, we're going to move on. God bless. I appreciate the call. I appreciate the question because I like real questions. Okay, I'll go to anyone who either raises their hand or writes that they have a question in the chat.
E, over there
Where?
on the left. E.
E has a raised hand?
Look, whenever there's a hand, that means someone's asking a question. You see that blue?
E has a raised hand. Let me see where E is. Where's E? Oh. Unmute. Hello?
Hi, I have a question, Rabbi.
Okay, do you mind?
I'm
not. Just one second before you ask, if you don't mind, please. Sorry to interrupt. I'm not asking that people reveal their identities because a lot of people want to ask questions, But I am going to ask in general if you're prepared to say a name and at least a location where you're calling from. That would help. Okay.
Okay, I'm calling from Brooklyn.
Okay.
Okay. Me and my husband.
Do you mind? Sorry, one more question. Again, you don't have to answer. Do you mind if you're single or married?
Married.
Okay.
Okay. So me and my husband, we're having a hard time putting the stresses of having the kids home all day. We have 5 kids, home all day, getting them their Zoom classes and doing everything for the kids, that at the end of the day, it's very hard to shut that off to turn on the intimacy.
Right.
What are some good tips to shut off the stresses of everything that's going on to then connect to each other?
Okay. Fair question. Look, my guess is, I said before that there's a debate going on whether there's going to be a baby boom after the coronavirus, meaning a lot of sex is happening right now, or there's going to be a divorce boom. My guess is right now there's not a lot of sex. And my guess is the sex that people are having is probably bad sex. I'll tell you why. There's a global contagion. People are afraid. Fear and libido don't usually work well together. The kids are all home, like you said. There's a lot of stress. We have our children home, thank God, and we're just cleaning the whole day. And my kids are cleaning the whole day. That's also not, the most erotic thing, although very necessary. Gotta keep the house clean. And then you're right, the kids are doing school from home. So there's all these stresses. So what do I suggest to you? Okay, so you're a married woman. What I suggest is that you and your husband choose one night this week where you tell your kids, at 9 o'clock, that's it. They could read a book in their bedrooms. They could, even if they watch something, as long as they stop by, 10 at the latest, depending on their age. But you and your husband are out of commission, out. And no one is to bother you, and you guys just want an early night. Don't even go into, Daddy and I need a night to ourselves. None of their business what you're doing. Daddy and I are out of commission. We want an early night. What I suggest to you as a woman and as a wife is, I bet that there are a lot of erotic, it could be fantasy, it could be experiences, it could be aspects of your erotic feminine personality that you've never shared with your husband. Why don't you guys have an erotic off? Meaning, why don't you say to your husband, I'm going to tell you something, but you have to match me. I'm going to tell you something that I've never really told you before. I'm not saying about anything, forbidden, God forbid, or anything that would be injurious to a marriage or relationship, but it could be a fantasy. It could be someone you were attracted to that was innocent. It could be, start the conversation, then ask him to respond. He may or he may not. It's an erotic game that actually works because the issue with the loss of sexual appetite, of libido during the coronavirus pandemic is not only because we're being so consumed with work and kids around. A lot of it is loss of attraction. We're not attracted to people that we're around all the time. We're not attracted to people where there's no space in the relationship. We're not attracted where there's an absence of mystery. We're not attracted where there's an absence of unavailability. But if you reveal these things to your husband aspects of your erotic, womanly personality that you've never revealed before, he will see you as a new person, and you'll begin to see him as a new person. By the way, I believe this should be done at the best of times, let alone right now. It isn't true that there's a whole new side of ourselves that we can't reveal to our spouse. It is true that we largely avoid doing that because we're embarrassed and we're fearful and we're inhibited. And I've pushed my whole career, I've pushed my whole career for husbands and wives to go beyond inhibition. I don't believe that marriages should have inhibition. By the way, inhibition is natural, but going beyond inhibition is very erotic. It's like it's having to push yourself. You get so aroused that you overcome the inhibition. So that's one suggestion. I'm not going to give you a lot more suggestions yet, because I'd like to see you try that one. And then I'd love to hear how you respond to that. But you can tell me right now, does that sound like an idea that you might even entertain? Or does that sound, oh my gosh, you are on a different planet? What?
We're married for 17 years. This sounds like it could even bring out like a whole new sex life with my husband just by doing that. So I'm definitely going to try it.
Don't be embarrassed. I don't think there should be inhibition in marriage. I'm a great, but you know what? But it's still hard to go beyond inhibition. Okay, God bless. Really appreciate the question. Let's see who else. Who's got a hand up? Someone give me a hand up. Let me just see who else has got a hand up. We have so many questions on Facebook, but you guys got to understand. Can we tell the people on Facebook again what the Zoom meeting number is? Because it's much better if you guys actually ask the question.
Yeah, just to let people know that you can't see them if they turn their camera off, and no one's gonna know there, because I think some people are embarrassed. But let them know.
Yeah. By the way, for those of you who are like, I know this is there's a lot of these questions are private and personal, and we're not going to reveal your identity. You can write your question if you want. I can unmute. Let me just see. And we have so many questions on Facebook. I want to hear people's voices. And you don't have to reveal your identity. You have a question? Ben? Is that...
No, they put a hand up and they have a question.
What?
They put a hand up and they have a question.
Okay, who else? Tell me. Or like I said, you can write it.
By the way, on the Facebook page for others, there is a link on the bottom where you could actually click to get the Zoom. Number one. Number two, the Rebbe said they'll discuss Zoom Shidduchim. What do you think about it?
Zoom Shidduchim? That's a good question. That's a fair question. Look, I have children of marriageable age, and I don't want to see them quarantined for weeks or months where they can't date, because I'm a great believer in marriage. Most of you know my story. My parents divorced when I was 8 years old, and ever since then, I mean, when your parents divorce, you can go one of two ways. One is you can become very cynical about marriage because your own family was broken apart, torn asunder, or you can recommit yourself to marriage. Thank God with me, it was the latter. I said, I'm going to try to be a marriage counselor, and I've done a lot of counseling. Well, my kids know that. They know my values, and I don't want to see them unable to date. So what do I think about Zoom Shidduchim? I'm completely in favor. Zoom dating, I think there was a New York Times story about that today. I didn't have a chance to read it, but I think it was there. Why not? You can see each other. Even if we didn't have visual technology, even if we only still had telephones, good old rotary telephones, I would tell people that they could speak and meet over the phone. By the way, maybe sometimes speaking over the phone is even a little bit better than Zoom, insofar as I don't want people to only judge one another through looks. Sometimes when you speak on the phone, you get to first fall in love with the personality before you even judge the appearance. I find that in today's relationships, people are so appearance-centric, they're so appearance-obsessed, that they just either embrace someone immediately because they think they're beautiful or handsome, or they dismiss someone instantly because they think they're neither of those. Having said that, I've also seen it backfire. I've seen a lot of people start with dating by phone, and then they will really like the person, and they see them, they're not attracted. They're just like, I don't. But it could work in your favor as well, because sometimes the emotion begins to color what you see as beautiful. Beauty really is in the eye of the beholder, and it's easy to prove. My daughter Chana, sitting right next to me, knows, and all my kids know, that I love going to the world's great museums. I love art. We can't go to them now during the coronavirus, but I've been to the Met 1,000 times. I've been to the Prado. I've been to the National Gallery in London. I could go on. I try to go to the world's great museums, and all of the great masters, they painted very voluptuous, curvaceous, plump women. That was seen as beautiful. Today, of course, it's stick thin women on the catwalk who look like they may not have had a meal in a month. So the standards of beauty have changed. It just shows you beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We can talk about that as well. Any other questions? Chana, what are you looking at? Who's got a hand up? And like I said, this is all like new technology for me. I mean, there's Ted. Hey, Ted, I'm going to unmute you. How's it going, Ted? Where are you?
Thank God. I'm in my office, Pennsylvania.
Okay, Ted, what's your question?
Well,
Ted, you're a love guru yourself. You don't need me to like. Hey, a lot of people asking about porn. From reporter Shmuley, what do you think of pornography in time of coronavirus? We just talked about that, but Ted, go ahead.
Well, porn is used for one reason, usually, and that's for masturbation.
Yeah.
So it's a sin to waste seed for a man. It's a sin.
Yep.
But what about a woman? Is she held by the same standard? Could she masturbate? She's not wasting seed.
So you're in lockdown in Pennsylvania, and this is what's on your mind, Ted, huh? At least you preserved a very fruitful imagination. Okay. Yeah, let me address this. Let me address it both from a biblical perspective, and let me address it from a universal secular perspective, okay? You are correct from a biblical Jewish law perspective. Masturbation for men is prohibited because of wasted seed, right? Just like you said. And we learned that from the story of Onan, who was Judah's son, the real Judah, the original Judah of the 12 tribes, after whom we're all named Jews. But Onanism is the wasting of seed, because Onan had sex with his brother's wife after his brother had died, and he was jealous that the baby would be named after his brother. So the Torah says he winnowed within, and you winnow, and then he threshed within, winnowed without, whatever it is. You get the point. He wasted seed. He spilled his seed, and he was punished by God for it. So masturbation is not allowed for a man because of wasted seed. So you ask, from a Jewish law perspective, is it therefore allowed for women because there isn't the same concept of wasting seed? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. But you see, in all my books, Kosher Sex, Kosher Sutra, Kosher Adultery, I don't deal with things only from a Jewish law biblical perspective. I deal with things from a national, secular, universal perspective. I have always believed that masturbation for men and women, especially if you're married, is a bad thing, is unhelpful. I'll tell you why. Because you are purging your body of the buildup of sexual excitement and steam without having it connect you erotically to your spouse. Sexual desire, when a man feels, call it horny, for lack of a more eloquent expression for this moment. If a man feels horny, a woman feels horny, and they're married, and they can connect sexually with their partner, with their spouse, but they instead choose to masturbate, now they've lost an opportunity to really connect on an emotional, psychological, carnal, sexual, and erotic level. Wow, what a shame. Because sex is supposed to unite us. Sex is an act of intimacy. As the Bible says in Genesis 2:24, therefore shall a man leave his father, leave his mother. He shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh. My daughter Chana always says to me, okay, Tati, well, that's fair enough for married couples. Why masturbation, even for a woman where there's no spilling of seed? A wife, why would a woman masturbate if she should ask her husband to please her sexually? And in Jewish law, husbands are supposed to bring their wives to climax. in Jewish law, a man is not supposed to have sex with his wife unless she orgasms. But what if you're single? Well, if you're single, and my daughter says to me, always be real, I am realistic. I recognize that people in their 20s, 30s who are not married are going to masturbate. But even then, there's gradations there's levels of what you're going to be involved in. Pornography, even if you're going to masturbate, use your erotic imagination. The problem with porn is all the things I said before. It's degrading to women. It makes men experts, not real experts, fake experts in a woman's body. So you become addicted to the kind of fraudulent image that porn represents about women's bodies. Usually fake breasts and fake this and fake that. And it's very difficult to connect erotically.
It also makes them bad at sex because they have this false idea of what is supposed to be like.
Yeah, and my daughter Chana says it makes them very bad at sex because they get a fraudulent idea of what sex is supposed to be. And by the way, Chana, and not just a fraudulent idea, but it locks them into, porn is so unimaginative. It locks them into the forward position. It's always the same stupid thing over and over again. Anyway, Ted, I hope that answers your question. Does it?
It does. Thank you, Rabbi.
So, Ted, you find it more interesting to talk about all of these issues than going out in Pennsylvania and like picking corn?
This is very interesting, Rabbi. Let's put it that way. But I just want to make a comment. The masturbation is that it severs you. It takes you away from the reality of chasing. It takes the urgency away.
Yes, that's part of my point. That's part of my point. Like whenever Chana says to me, Tati, look, you got to be realistic about the masturbation issue because people who are not married are going to masturbate. Okay, fair enough. But remember, as you just said, the sexual urge, sexual desire is one of the things that causes us to want to be in a relationship. I don't mean where we use people for sex. That's disgusting and it's disingenuous. And it's almost a form, the Maimonides would say it's almost a form of emotional thievery because you're telling a woman, oh, I think you're amazing, but really you just want sex with her. Or a woman's telling a man, oh, I think, same thing, I just want sex with him. But if it's done, if sexual desire done honestly in the form of a true desire to connect to someone intimately leads you to date and want to marry, then engaging in, masturbation where it purges that sexual need from your system, you might not be as dependent on the opposite sex. You might not be as compelled to date, etc.
Exactly.
And that's a shame.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ted. Anyone else?
Bill left some comments, but about what's permissible and
someone's asking me about 69. Interesting question.
anal.
Well, if you're married, remember why I write this in Kosher Sex. By the way, give me a copy of Kosher Sex. I had one here a second ago. If you're married, of course, then the sky's the limit. 69. Well, why wouldn't it be allowed? Judaism is not prudish about sex. I actually write about. I'm not getting into 69 in particular in this book, but I talk about different sexual positions. And yes, this is the original text of the 20th anniversary version of Kosher Sex. It's sold at kosher.sex, which Chana runs kosher.sex. You should actually get it. It's a great time to read it. And I'm so proud of the fact that it has stood the test of time. 2 decades after its publication, people are still buying it, reading it in their thousands and tens of thousands, thank God. Okay, what other questions do we have? Give me another question. So many questions on Facebook, but again.
Let me answer some of the questions on Facebook then.
What?
Just answer some of the questions on Facebook. Or you just read them.
This is like, who's the guy writing in as Donald Trump? Hana. That's pretty funny. Okay, I don't think Donald Trump is watching this right now. Okay, something tells me that's not the president. Okay.
Why don't you read some of the comments?
Yeah, but I can't because this gets in the way, and there are so many comments on Facebook. Can a divorced Cohen remarry a divorced single mother asking for a friend? Okay, that's a halachic question. I'm trying to deal more with relationship questions. A lot of questions on masturbation. Don't be ashamed about that. I mean, I know in a time of quarantine, there's going to be a lot of questions about masturbation. We've tried to deal with many of them. divorced female Jew. I love my iPhone porn. Okay. But women don't watch the same kind of porn that men do. It's just a fact. When you say you love your iPhone porn, we know the statistics, basically, of what gender is going to a lot of these porn sites. And the kind of like really outrageous porn, it's almost all masculine. By the way, let's be clear. I am not someone who believes that men are more sexual than women. I believe precisely the opposite. I actually think that women are more sexual than men. I just think that female sexuality is much more rooted in emotion, therefore making it that much more potent. I think men find it so much easier to compartmentalize in sex between the body and the heart. You remember, when men have sex, their genitalia are outside of their body, so they find it very easy or easier to treat sex as something done to someone else because their genitalia are on the outside. But for women, anatomically, their genitalia are on the inside. Sex is a literal sharing of self. It becomes that much harder to compartmentalize between the body and the heart. Does that limit female sexuality? No, it makes it much more potent, much more explosive, because it means that women, sex is supercharged through the heart and the emotions. And it's actually deadened when the heart and the emotions are taken from it. So I think women are much more sexual than men. I just don't think they like the kind of ridiculous, outrageous, stupid porn that the guys are watching. But sorry, Yunchen, you tell me, you can tell me if you agree or not. A lot of comments here. Hey, hi from Ireland. Hello, Ireland. Hope everyone there is safe. I love Ireland. I used to do the Late Late Show there a bunch of times. Good question. That's a theological question. How does divine providence mesh with COVID-19? Well, I'm not someone who believes that COVID-19 is a punishment from God. I think that's an abomination to religion when we see God as that vengeful, that he would allow the deaths of so many, especially the elderly, the infirm, the vulnerable. But we can't understand why this is happening, but we can redeem it as much as possible. I've discussed this many times, but tonight we're going to stick more to relationships. All of you who are writing to me, wow, so many comments, but I wish you would just do them on Zoom so I could actually hear them. We're going to take one more question because we've now been going for 41 minutes and I wanted to do about 40 minutes. So give me one last question. If you can raise a hand.
Here.
Oh, okay. Comforter Rutman, unmute. Hey, can you hear? Hi.
Yeah.
Where are
Shalom.
you? Where are you, if I may ask?
Hello there. I'm currently in London, England.
You're in London. Wow. You guys have been hit pretty hard in London, as we have been in the New York area, right? Are you guys safe?
I believe so.
Okay, you have quite an interesting name, or a screen name, Comforter. That means Menachem, right?
It does indeed.
Okay, so ask away, please.
It means Menachem, and Menachem also means comforter.
That's correct. Not like a comforter, like a quilt, but more someone who brings comfort, right? Okay, maybe you don't get my American humor. It's okay, as you probably well know.
I do, of course. Yeah, sure. I'm just in a very serious state of mind right now. Excuse me, sir.
Go ahead. Ask your question, please.
I could ask a couple of questions, if it might be possible.
You can ask one if you don't mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, I noticed you're kind of down to the last one. I always catch the shows at the end. It's a muzzle.
Okay.
Fortune.
Well, what's the question?
My question is, what would you think about the ethics of the universe in this current state?
The ethics of the universe in this current state?
Yeah.
Wow, you're a big thinker. You're a philosopher.
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I would first think about the ethics of humanity in this current state. The universe is a big thing. Let's first talk about the ethics of humanity. There's a lot of courageous people who are saving lives. That's impressive. That's high ethics. There are a lot of people who are trying to be selfless, and a lot of people digging deep into themselves to be better people, to find personal renewal. That's impressive ethics. My poor daughter is sitting to my right, knows I've overloaded my kids with 10,000 speeches in this lockdown about the need for all of us to find renewal and be better people, and be more moral, more spiritual, pray better, connect with God more, connect with each other more. So I would first focus on the ethics of humanity. As far as the ethics of the universe, one of the biggest questions about the universe is just the why. Why the universe? Why the infinite expanse of the cosmos? What does it all mean? Those are enormous, gigantic questions, and we can only fill them with human meaning. And now is a time with the coronavirus where there's so much absence of meaning, because this stupid virus has no meaning at all, right? The virus just wants to replicate. It only wants to survive. The coronavirus has no conscience. It has no choice. It has no awareness. It is simply something that wants to replicate and not die. That's all it wants to do is survive. And it does so by attacking us. It does so by moving from host to host. And it kind of almost captures the senselessness that people can see in the universe as well. The coronavirus is senseless. It just wants to replicate. It's just trying to invade another organism and attach itself to our cells so that it doesn't die. It needs as many hosts as possible, which is why people are getting infected.
Can I ask you a quick question?
But having said that, I don't have to live by the ethics of the coronavirus. I hate the coronavirus. If the coronavirus, I'd punch it in the face. Actually, I wouldn't, because I don't want to get contaminated by it, God forbid. If the coronavirus in front of me, I would take one of those sprays that would kill it, and maybe I'd be able to save humanity from it. But the point is, I hate it. I hate the coronavirus. I hate those ethics of just senselessness, of survival for the sake of survival, regardless of what it does to other people. So in that sense, I think there's a higher ethical thing that we can all reach for in the age of coronavirus, and that's to endow our lives with greater meaning, endow our relationships with greater meaning, and to redeem this moment with things like we're doing right now. Here are you all watching me at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's pretty late where you are right now in London. And
have you heard that this virus is an energy packet?
I have not heard that. But life is.
So you have a diploma in computers.
Okay, I don't see it as an energy packet. I see life as, I don't know.
The way to beat the virus energy packet is with a stronger energy packet.
Okay, that's good. Let's call that stronger energy packet human will. But I want to thank you very much, because I'm going to go now. But God bless you. You made me think. I really appreciate it. Okay, guys. So I've appreciated all of your questions. Well, we might do this again tomorrow, but the point is more people have got to get on Zoom, because we really want to have live questions. This is all beta for us. Excuse some of the technical imperfections. I'm trying to get used to a more visual format where people can actually talk to me in this age where we're not going out and meeting a lot of people. But please go to kosher.sex. On Chana's website, you'll find incredible products that can be used right now. I know that E asked me about how to enhance the sexual experience in marriage. You'll find actually a lot of products there that'll bring greater novelty. At kosher.sex, you'll find phenomenal classes and relationships experts in a lot of my classes. You'll find a lot of my books, and I think you'll really enjoy it. And the more traffic at kosher.sex, the more I see that we're touching people and getting them to want to prioritize their relationships. So God bless you all, and I hope that this damn virus is purged from the earth and God saves and rescues humanity. God bless you all.